Hello, I just wanted to do a short video with some tips of things that I learned in pregnancy and birth and early parenting that I wish somebody would have told me. So I just have a short list here. Um, One of the things was that my labor was very, very fast, and it was also about 5 days early. So I had thought that it was going to be late, and so I didn't thoroughly read um, about breastfeeding. And so of course when you have a fast labor, I mean, you don't have time to read while you're in early labor. And then afterwards, when the baby comes out, if you want to breastfeed immediately, which you should try to do, if you don't know what you're doing already, it's not the time to learn. So I highly recommend that you learn about breastfeeding. You go to a La Leche League, a meeting, and really learn about latching on, because I had it all wrong, and I spent the first few days with a lot of pain, which was unnecessary. And then I realized I was doing it wrong, and I got some help. So that's my first tip, is if you're going to breastfeed, and I hope everybody is, figure it out. I mean, learn as much as you can about latching on before your baby comes. Let's see, the second thing, when you're in labor, you're working really hard. You know, most women are in a bed, so your head is kind of, you're moving around on the pillows, and your hair just gets a mess. So I highly recommend that you put it back in a tight braid, like a French braid if you can. And because I had that problem twice. Once in labor, I didn't have time to put up my hair. My husband didn't know how to do it. And so I ended up with this huge rat's nest, which took forever to take out. And when you're holding the baby, I mean, you can't just say, okay, put the baby aside, I'm going to do my hair. It just doesn't work. So, and then since I went to the hospital again, it happened, and it took a long time to get out. So, if you have some warning before you get into active labor, then either put it up yourself or have someone do a French braid for you that's going to keep your hair in place. Let's see, if you're going to be in a hospital, and if you're going to have an IV fluids, I ended up doing that, but also I had IV medication for my hospitalization. And on the fourth day, the arm that had the IV in it all that time, the vein burst. So I was not aware of what this meant, so I didn't know the warning signs. But what happened was I started feeling this coolness in my arm, and then swelling. And it had been about 10 or 15 minutes before I noticed that. Then I rang for the nurse, and the nurse came another 5 minutes after that. So because I waited so long, she took it out, but by that time I had a lot of fluid that had gone into the tissue, and it can cause tissue damage. What ended up happening is it got all swollen, and my arm basically felt like it was broken for a week. It was horrible. So that's called infiltration, or when the vein bursts and whatever liquid is being pumped into you goes into the tissue. It infiltrates the tissue. And it creates a big problem, sometimes permanent damage. Now, luckily, my vein just went back to normal, but it took about a week. And in the meantime, it was extremely painful. It really interfered with breastfeeding. And so what would have helped, like for example, the nurse then put it in my right arm. The vein she put it in burst immediately. So she took the needle out within 10 seconds, and I still got swelling and bruising, and that was only for a few days. But still, if you feel something is wrong, if you feel any swelling, get the nurse right away, because you're going to save yourself a lot of suffering if you can get it early. Hopefully that won't happen to anybody, but for me it happened twice and it was just horrible. So, and I had never heard of anything like that. Of course, we all want to plan ahead, educate ourselves as much as possible about the labor and delivery, and about early parenting as well. Um, there's just so much, and really a lot of it is just on the job training. You can't prepare for everything. It's going to be very emotionally exhausting as well as physically exhausting, like the first few weeks of having that baby. I mean, I wanted this baby so bad, and I waited years for her, and I adore her. Um, but it doesn't take away the feeling of being overwhelmed. So be prepared for that, I guess, as much as you can. I thought I was prepared for that, but I mean, nothing can prepare you for it. You just have to show up and go day by day. So it's wonderful, and it's exhausting, and it can be emotionally overwhelming as well. And it really challenges your patience with your partner. So I have a wonderful husband. I mean, he's worked so hard, and especially with the stress of going to the hospital and, for 5 days. He did an incredible job. So I'm very thankful. And still, it's very stressful. You have to really support each other. As far as baby clothes go, my daughter has only worn a few outfits because she got a ton of newborn outfits, and you want things that are going to be really comfortable and easy, so and that fit her. So you can have 5 different newborn outfits, and they're all going to be different sizes depending on the brand. And then they grow so fast, so you don't use things more than a few weeks anyway. So if you're buying things, or people are giving you things, or people are buying things for you, just you don't need a lot of clothes. You really don't need a lot of clothes, and especially for the newborns, don't get these little outfits. Maybe they'll wear them for a photo and that's it. But what you do need is a lot of comfortable, simple clothing. Excuse me. And I don't really have any because they were more expensive. I never got any. But try to get kimono style onesies that don't have to be pulled over the baby's head, because I hate that. I mean, Bianca hates it, and I'm sure, I think that's pretty typical, that babies do not like having these things pulled over their head. So if you can get the kimono style or wrap style of tops or onesies, so that you're not going to have to keep pulling things over the baby's head. And receiving blankets, you need a bunch of those, but that's about it. I bought cloth diapers, and I wanted to use cloth diapers from birth, and I used one and it got filled with meconium. But it was too big for her anyway. I think someone just threw that one away because it was gonna be really hard to clean. But the point is, be prepared. Even if you really want to use cloth diapers, I've been using disposables, and I really don't like that idea. But with all that I'm learning, all that I'm having to deal with this brand new baby, and with the cloth diapers being too big, there's no choice. I'm going to use disposables. It's much easier, and they fit her. The other ones, they're just too big. But overall, I mean, over the long term, disposables are so expensive, and they really are not good for the environment. A lot of babies are sensitive to the gels and just the plastic that's in those diapers, and luckily my baby hasn't had a problem yet, but I want to use cloth diapers as soon as I can for her health, for the environment, and for the cost. every package, I think we get 36 diapers in a package, and it's about $10 each, and we go through them like crazy. But we're going to continue using them for a couple more weeks until things calm down a little bit. I have more of a routine, and until the cloth diapers fit her. I'm trying to think if there's any other advice. This is all new to me, so I'm sure some of you can give me some really good advice too, which I would really appreciate. If there's things you've learned, tips, or just funny stories or anything like that, I would love to hear from you. So I guess that's it for now. Thank you. Bye-bye.